Hey guys, this is G, and this is Metro Last Light for the PC, PS3 and Xbox 360. We're playing the PC version here because why wouldn't you if you can? I'm about to load into a relatively early mission called Facility. And what's happened is your bosom buddy Pavel has been captured by a group of angry Russian Nazis, and you've got to break him out of jail. So I'll just be silent while he speaks.
Artyom! Shit! I knew you wouldn't abandon me. I knew it. You're a true comrade. I'm in your debt for life. Now get me out of here and I'll lead you home in no time. Fuck! Fuck, they're coming for me! Gonna take me to the noose! Good luck, my friend! You're my only hope now!
Come on, get your ass out here, you fucking commie rat.
And there we go. So, what is this game about? Well, this is the sequel to Metro 2033, and I apologise if I keep referencing that first game throughout this video, because I was a huge fan of it. I mean, I absolutely adored that game. So I'm going to be saying that kind of a lot. Just like, oh, this is like how it was in the first game. This isn't, blah, 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 blah. You get the idea. If you can't tell already, it's a shooter. You shoot things. Hang on, I'll switch to a silence weapon. Left stick. Aim. Right stick. Shoot. It's a shooter. So what's the setting before I go in and shoot some dudes? Well, Russia's kind of screwed. Someone, I'm assuming the Americans, nuked it to hell, and the only people who survived were the people who sort of scurried their way down into Moscow's underground network of rail tunnels and set up their own new society there. It's kind of a screwed up society though, you know, as evidenced by the army of angry Nazis that have captured your friend. So let's make our way through here. Stealth plays a very big part in this game, because you cannot take much damage. Again, this is much like the first game, although the stealth sections in the first game were terrible. Luckily there were not many of them, because you spent most of that game fighting monsters and not humans, whereas in this it's mostly the other way around from what I've played so far. It's this nice bit of sort of ambient storytelling. There are a lot of moments like this where you'll just be walking around and this nice little self-contained story will be happening. They don't really have much significance to the wider narrative of the game, but it's still nice. It adds a lot to the depth of the world, and that was the biggest strength of Metro 2033. It's mostly the strength of this game too, but the actual shooting part of it is much better. Unfortunately, because of that, the kind of overall immersion has suffered somewhat. But let's try and get through this area before I speak more on that.
Now I know you're crazy. If you're here, no one is watching your stash.
So I'll wait for these guys to finish their conversation before I go in. I'll tell you about this game while I wait. Control's quite similar to the first game, so you've got this nice little short menu now to get to some of the extra functions like gas masks and night vision and stuff like that. So this is cool. There's a lot of moments like this where if you wait around long enough there'll be a little extra moment. Oh dear, I think he spotted me with his headlamp there. Oh no. It's only for a second, so it's alright. Yeah, these guys with headlamps are very annoying. A big feature of this game is they can't see you if you're in the darkness, and they will forget where you are. Unlike the first game, where once they'd seen you, they knew where you were forever. Which is partly why the stealth sections were so shitty in there. But one of the nicer additions in this game now that makes them less shitty is...
Hey, who goes there?
these nice little knife instant kills. Let's get all that ammo. I do kind of have a big issue with how ammo is handled in this game, but again, that is a discussion better had when there are not dudes waiting to kill me. And also, because it's a shooter, you can throw knives that instantly kill people. I don't know. I guess because COD has it, all the other shooters have to have it too. Apologies if I sound a bit cynical, you know. I was really looking forward to this game. And not to say it's a bad game. I'm just a little disappointed with how it handled a lot of things. There's at least 2 guys left. See, why does that instant kill when bullets don't? It just seems ridiculous. It's become a stupid tradition now. Destroying lights is obviously a big part of this game, as it's very stealthy. They've also made it very easy to tell whether you are spottable or not. You see you've got that little watch in the corner, and when the light on it goes blue, that means that people can see you. So if I'm walking over here in the light, let's knock this guy out. Just be nice to him.
Oh.
I love that they just have, like, Reich written on the back of their shirts. It seems really stupid. I mean, who's left to actually make that? Is there, like, a printing press somewhere down in the metro? Let's get this guy. And let's do an actual kill on this one. Yeah, fairly traditional stuff. And once we've taken care of this final guy, it's up here. Oh no, seems there was someone left. Yeah, I'll go through how the guns work. What's it start with? Hey buddy. So I haven't got my torch on, which of course makes it harder to see, but it means they in turn cannot see me unless I'm in the light, like now. Another nice thing they kept, you can be blinded by those headlamps. Let's switch to shotgun. This is an interesting one. This is a one-shot shotgun. So you have to reload after every shot, but it does crazy damage. Whoa! Yeah, see, that just ripped right through that guy's armor. Let's pick up this ammo. And yeah, I think we're free now, so I can demonstrate some of this game. So, one of my favourite things about that first game was every gun felt unique, and that's still mostly the same. They have a lot of nice little features to them. Let's switch over to... So this is the Bastard. This is another returning gun from that first game. The idea is it has crazy spread, so those bullets just like went everywhere, and it also overheats over time. But it has crazy rate of fire, and in that first game that was an issue. That was a nice little risk-reward thing because bullets were extremely rare. In this game that's not the case. Everyone has crazy amounts of bullets. I can just walk up to any of these corpses and get like entire clips of stuff generally. And it's not even bullets for guns they were actually carrying, it's just every kind of bullet, which just makes it more ridiculous. So yeah, sadly that kind of ammo economy in the first game is gone. It was always an interesting idea that you had to constantly count your bullets, think like, okay, it's going to take 5 bullets to take this dude out, but am I going to get 5 bullets in return? Does he have any bullets on him? It was an interesting idea and I quite enjoyed it. It kind of bums me out that that's not really a feature in this, but I would say that the actual overall shooting is much, much better. Everything feels a lot smoother and less clunky. Although that kind of added to the experience too. See, if I'd been real smart, I could have come up here, turned off these lights, made it even easier to sneak around. And also someone would have come back and turned that fuse box on, which would be another opportunity to get a nice knife kill. It does amuse me, when you're not actually doing an instant kill, how quickly that knife attack comes out. It just kind of, your hand just teleports up. Yeah, silly. What else? Before I go on to the next section. One nice feature that is still here is bullets also serve as your money in the game. There are 2 types of bullets. You've got the rubbish bullets that have been made in the metro, and you've got the pre-war bullets that the army stockpiled before the apocalypse happened. And those are the bullets you use to buy stuff, because they're way better than the bullets anyone can make now, which is a nice little idea. Unfortunately, it's not as interesting an idea as it was in that first game, because there are just so many bullets around, like I said, so you don't ever have to think, oh, I might have to shoot away some of my money because I'm out of standard bullets. That's never been an issue for me so far. I've had almost maximum ammo for all my weapons for most of the game so far, so... Yeah. I think that's all I've got to say on this, so I might go to the next section. Oh yeah, another nice little thing that returning, you do have to recharge your flashlight through this little hand crank. There's still a lot of stuff like that where they kind of explain away game mechanics which are usually just accepted as, you know, just how the game works. They rationalise them within the game's universe. Like, if I bring up my objectives, it's just in this clipboard that the character carries around. Yeah, it's a nice little idea. You've got a torch, so if you're in a dark place, you can light it up. Yeah, it's a nice... Sadly, they have taken out the really derpy run animation for when you had the clipboard out. It was so stupid. It was just... Yeah. This game's a lot less silly than that first one, for a lot of reasons. Yeah, this is where the clipboard does actually come in handy. See that compass in the top left? That's actually my objective marker, so if I ever get lost, it points me in the right direction. The areas are much smaller in this game though, so that happens far less. Is there any interesting guns before I go that I can pick up? Customized guns are a lot more common than they were in the first game, so it's good to just like check corpses to see if there is anything useful. See, like this bastard has a silencer on it. Normally that wouldn't happen. I just happened to find one that did, picked it up and added it. Like one time I played this level, a guy had one with like a night vision sight on it, which was quite useful. So there is kind of like a random loot aspect to it. Can I go through here? Yes, I can. Oh, it's the guy who's getting bullied earlier.
Don't shoot, man. Take anything, but please.
Yeah, this is one of the many moments you have a choice of like killing someone who's surrendered. I'm assuming it feeds into some kind of morality system, but I'm not sure yet. Oh, speaking of bastard with reflex sight,
God, do I hate
this guy had one.
people are worse than beasts.
It's just like, poor guy go. It's so silly. Why do they have these big jackets that say Reich on the back? They look like they're in like a band reunion or something. It's like, oh yeah, I bought the sick merch. This official 2010 Reich band uniform. I don't know. It's silly stuff. There is still a lot of silliness in this game. So yeah, this is a nice little interesting aspect because of that like welding torch over there. I can be momentarily sighted.
I've got my gun in my pants, while you left yours at the whorehouse. Yeah, that gun of yours is going to be so much fucking help with the rest of your ass.
See, that got him in the leg. Why would that kill him? Bunch of dudes over there. So let's turn this off, shall we? See, now they're having to rely on their headlamps rather than the actual lighting in the area. Because they can all see each other. If I try and stealthily take one out, they'll realise something's up. But this guy's probably going to come and take the fuse box back, so... Meanwhile, I will get him. Oh no, I forgot about that corpse. Oh no, now they know I'm here. Looks like violence is the only answer. I didn't quite get that guy the second time. I think I knocked that guy's head. Yeah, he's still good. Bang, 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 bang. I don't really like automatic weapons in games, so I'm gonna switch to something else. I like this shotgun. It's fun. Oof. Yeah, enemies did not used to go down that easily in the first game. It was a lot more about small encounters. In fact, I think there are only like 3 major encounters with human enemies in the whole game. Whereas it's been almost nothing but that so far. this. But this is an early part. Yeah, that shotgun is so powerful. It just knocks those armor plating right off. See, that guy have anything interesting? Nope. Let's turn the flashlight back on. And then loot all the corpses, as per Metro tradition. So what I love about this game, and the previous game, is not the actual combat, although the combat is good. It's just the world. It's a really unique setting, and they put a lot of effort into making it seem realistic. Like, they have all these different factions, like the Nazis and the Reds and so on, and no one is a good guy. Everyone is a dick, including the people you work for, the Rangers, who are like these... I don't know. How would I describe them? They seem to think of themselves like kind of knights or custodians who are just, I don't know, trying to work for everyone's benefit, but, you know, that can mean whatever they want it to mean. Nah, I can't remember the right. Oh well. Let's go through this vent. Sadly, there are a lot of vents in this game. Oh shit, it's a bomb! Oh no, it's just a lamp, that's fine. And another massive case of ammo, you know, in case you didn't have enough already, which you always do. What was I saying? Already forgotten. Oh, shit, turn off the lamp. There we go. Yeah, I was stupid there. I walked into this area with the flashlight on, which is very easy to forget about. I don't know how they can so easily identify you as someone they want to kill, but it's best you don't ask. And they're pretty clever about hunting you down like that, walking around in groups. So much shooting though. There was very little actual combat in that first game. I just wish this game had focused a bit more on the whole world building thing rather than, hey, it's time to go shoot some dudes. These Russians are angry. And they're Nazis, so it's alright to, you know, murder them all. Bang, bang, bang. It kind of made you feel more human as well, because unlike now, you're not sort of mowing down tons and tons of human beings. The first game, you were just a dude. Like, you weren't that much stronger than anyone else in the world. You had to get by on your wits and your friends. But in this, you feel more like just, you're a badass warrior who can take down armies of people like this. I guess that's what you gotta do to make money these days. I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm wailing on this game too much. It is a good game. I feel bad for saying so many nasty things, but I love that first game so much. It's so hard to accept what it is now. Even though I am enjoying it. It's like there's a million other games I could get this exact same experience from. Whereas that first one, that was, you know, it's the only game like that. Apart from maybe Stalker. Stalker was quite similar. Except with a kind of open world bent to it. And here I am with my machine gun with the reflex sight, shooting at dudes who are walking towards me with laser sights in some weird warehouse thing, and I bet there's a couple of crates here too, and a few explosive barrels. Games. Bang, 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 bang. I think there is a pretty good story moment coming up though, so that should make things a bit more interesting. So what's going on storyline-wise in this game at this point? I don't want to give spoilers for that first game because I do highly recommend you go out and play it, or at very least check out my This Is video of it. But, so, at your home train station, the train stations are basically the cities in this game, by the way, monsters were attacking, but there were monsters who were much stronger than the other mutants in the game. They had the power to destroy someone's mind just by walking up to them, not even have to sort of lifting their arms. And you set out to kill them, and something happened, which I won't get into. But suffice to say, there is at least one of those guys still around. So your quest in this game is to find that last remaining monster and do what you will with it. I assume there's going to be some kind of choice where it's like, oh, do you really want to wipe out the last of its kind? Do you really want to become the monster yourself? Or are you just going to let him chill? Yeah, that's what I expect anyway. I'm maybe like a third of the way in so far. Hey, buddy. Bye, buddy. I did like that little what. That was fun. Huh? What's that? Oh, too late. Knife in my neck. And of course, if I'd been smart, again, there are switches which would have turned off lights and stuff like that. There's probably lots of hidden bits of loot around as well. There are collectibles too, because again, that's another checklist you have to, you know, tick off. It's like, are there collectibles which will give me notes or something? Yes. The weird way they do it though is, they are diary notes, but they're your diary notes, so you're kind of finding your own notes. It's like normally most games these are notes from other people, but it's a weird way of doing it. But this is a Russian game, and Russian games always tend to be very strange, but in a good way. That was a mine I should have probably disabled. In the first game, that would have killed you instantly. Back in my day, everything was better. Is what I'm getting at. Also, ladders in first-person games, still an issue. Don't know how we haven't solved that yet. But still, there's lots of nice little things in this game that kind of just make stuff make sense. Like, there's this hole in the wall, and then you've got this, like, jackhammer here to say, like, yeah, someone made this hole. Most other... Jesus, I keep falling off that. Most games would have just been happy to, you know, have the hole there. I just think that shows the kind of level they're willing to go to for this. And more crawling through narrow corridors and vents and stuff. Because again, that's what you've got to do in your first-person shooter. I'm so cynical. I need to chill. And there's Pavel. He's in a bit of trouble. Have a knife. You too. And let this guy go. I was kind of disappointed you can't shoot the rope off. That was my first instinct when I did this the first time, but apparently that's not to do.
Let's move! It's gonna be another Stalingrad around here.
Now let's go! So, I think on this next section you actually fight giant mutant spiders. Which is one of the few bits in this so far where you are fighting the mutants. But I think what I'm going to do is actually skip ahead to one of the cities, which was the best part of the original Metro game. And in this game it's still pretty good too. And I'll get more on that once I've actually loaded in. So, see you in a bit. Bye.
Just like the three musketeers, if there were two of them. You ever read the book? Really confusing, but I fucking love it.
Actually, you know what? Stick around. I love the dialogue in these sequences.
Alright, we're short on time. We go to theater from here, then you off to police. I head back home to the Red Line, okay? I don't like how they gave up the chase and locked the game.
Just thought I'd show this bit, because I like how people talk in this game. All the dialogue is really well written.
Shit!
Even in these kind of action segments.
Fifth, come in. Andre. Fifth here. Cut the lights in that tunnel. There.
Overall storyline isn't that much to write home about. It's a standard tale so far of there is an objective, go do it. This objective involves killing lots of people who stand in your way. Fairly standard stuff. It's more how they get to that point. The journey is the adventure in this, not the actual end point. Just all the people you meet along the way, the lives you see, the lives you end. And
okay, Spartan, a short lesson. Bullets won't cut it here. But since
what I can do here is light my torch and set fire to these.
Okay? Turn the flashlight on and don't even think.
There we go, set fire to the webs, so I won't get stuck in them. But you can get through the webs fairly fast anyway, so it's not an issue.
A cave in? Looks like they blew the tunnel up. Maybe something on the other side they couldn't stop with bullets. Wait. I feel a draft. There's got to be a way
This is
through
going to be
somewhere.
through this. So this is basically a co-op door,
Help me with this.
which you may know from other shooters, whereby it's, oh, there is a thing which somehow needs exactly 2 people to get through. Now you must do a quick time event to open that passageway. And that's generally weird in a game that's single player, but this game was originally meant to have multiplayer co-op, because, again, that's part of the checklist. You got to say that. It's got co-op, yes. You're guaranteed this many sales, according to conventional logic, which is, of course, a load of shit. But thankfully, THQ eventually changed their minds on this. And yes, this was a THQ joint, which means it came very close to not happening because, you know, THQ not around anymore. I believe it got picked up by...
Let's go.
Damn it, who did pick up this game and get it published? It wasn't Nordic Games. Deep Silver of
That's high.
Dead Island fame, or infamy, depending on what side of the fence you are on there. Okay, now I'm going to skip forward to the city. This is just a
Let's hope
lot of giant spiders, which I know certain people do not want to see. Anyway, see you in a sec. And we're back! Welcome to theatre.
You want a nightmare? Oh, it's waiting for
Much like the first game, the idea is that every station has its own speciality. So like there's Armory, which is where all the weapons in the Metro get made, because that's happened to be where all the people who knew how to do that retreated to when the apocalypse happened. There is Polis, which is like the most advanced of all the stations, because that's where all the scientists went. And this theatre is considered the cultural capital of the Metro, because it's where all the artists went. Of course, their idea of culture is kind of petty compared to ours, but the idea is that's all they've got left, so they idolise it. It's like, oh, this guy knows how to play a guitar. He might be the last person who knows how to play this particular song, or this accordion, or whatever. So it becomes this amazing thing that they're obsessed with. It's a really nice little nuance.
So, that's our plan. The station next to this one is Revolution Square. One of us. Great. And Revolution is spitting distance to Polis. So, I, as a good communist, which I am, will vouch for you. They'll have to let you through, and you'll be home in no time. What do you think?
But you're the one that
Yup.
Yes, we are.
Great. Come in then.
You may have realised that Artyom, your protagonist, is a silent protagonist, and
Plenty to see here, huh?
never been too keen on that. I don't think it works too well in this game either, because you have all those bits where he's talking in between missions, and it adds a lot of depth to the game. And then you've got all those diary entries too, so he's not silent, but he kind of is at the same time. It's weird. I'm not quite sure I understand why they went with that. So you can kind of overhear some conversations here. This was kind of the biggest part of that first game, is walking around the station, like, hearing people talk, learning their stories, just finding out how the wider Metro universe works. And that was always the most satisfying part. And it still is here as well, which I'm very thankful to say. And again, like that first game, all the cities are very small because they are based around train stations. And the interesting part is seeing how each different group utilised what little space they had. Like this one has turned this sort of rail car into the mayor's office. And of course, because it's theatre where all the culture happens, they've set up a big stage and like jerry-rigged together some lights and a dressing room and stuff like that. And of course, you've got the ever-present pigs, who I think are the only non-mutant animal that's still around, because they're just really easy to raise underground, apparently. And this guy's interesting. It's the last guy who really remembers what the theatre was like back in the day, so he's really critical of everything. I just like the idea he's the last living critic. It's cool stuff, and you can give him some money and he'll tell you his life story. You don't have to, it doesn't really add anything, it's just nice. This game is full of nice things still.
Party lights. When all around
So this is familiar to Metro fans. There are like 3 or 4 different conversations going on nearby, and it's almost overwhelming. It's almost impossible to actually hear all of them, so expect to reload levels and go like, what was this person saying? What was this person saying? And it's worth hearing all of them because they're all so fascinating. Like, this little story here is great. It's this guy's trying to do like shadow puppets of animals and asking the kids what they are, but then he begins to realise those kids don't remember these animals. They don't know what a dog is because dogs are gone. All they've got are these weird mutant things. So like when he does the bird, it's like, oh, that's one of those demon things we see outside on the surface world. It's like, well, no, it's a bird, but they don't know what a bird is. It adds a little level of realism which you don't really see in these kinds of games, where they're just like, yeah, the apocalypse happened, stuff's still pretty much the same. Things like books are like hot commodities. Books such as Metro 2033, 34, and 35, the books that this game is based on. Very strange. They don't play that up as much as they did in the first game. In the first game you could find copies of Metro 2033 everywhere, it was crazy. It's like, hey, buy our book, buy our book, buy our book! Well, funnily enough, in Metro Last Light you actually get a free copy of Metro 2033, the book that is, not the game. Included as a PDF in the file structure somewhere. I highly recommend you read it. It's a very good book. Heavy reading though, like 900 pages or something crazy. So here's the shops where you can buy your extra shizzle. Basic stuff like, here's some ammo. Do you need ammo? Not really. You've got tons of it. You've got all these extra shops as well, which you of course don't buy stuff from, but they're shops that would exist if this place was real, like people selling shirts and things which are hard to come by, selling what remains of fish, and of course the weapon shop, which is where you're going to do most of your trading. They've kind of... I don't like how they've made these weapon shops in this game. Let's see, when I'm trading in a gun, it's like they have this massive folding thing. It's like, why would they have this? This is a really ridiculous way of having this. It kind of breaks immersion somewhat. In the first game, they just had a big pile of guns, and he was like, just choose your gun from this. And that makes sense. That's what would happen. Like, I don't think they would make this really absurd, like, folding contraption just to have one gun. Or have these gigantic stickers on them, either. And another thing they've changed is, instead of them just having customized weapons, you just choose what mods you wanted. I kind of like the idea that just the customized weapons they had were just the ones they happened to throw together. They couldn't just build anything for you. It's like, we found this shotgun that is sawn off. Do you want it? It's just another thing, I think. Kind of, it makes it a better shooter, but it takes away from the immersion. Which I suppose is alright. It's kind of a more balanced game in that respect. The shooting and the story is good this time, rather than the story being amazing and the shooting being kind of alright. That's no bad thing. So this guy, I think, is talking about drugs, but I can never quite figure out what they're on about. That's it, I think. I think that's Metro Last Light. Yeah, nothing else I can think. I think you've seen most of what this game is about. Hopefully you'll be interested and pick it up. It is very, very good. I would prefer it if they'd been more true to that first game, but, you know, I can't have my cake and eat it. It's still a great game, and it's a miracle that something like this, with such an original storyline and unique setting and all this kind of like extra fluff, can even exist now. So, I'm happy. Anyway, thanks for watching. See ya. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed making it. If you enjoyed it, please remember to like, subscribe, check out some of my other videos and all that other stuff. Please feel free to make comments too, even if they are negative. You know, if you've got something that you want me to change, then please say so and I'll factor it into my next video. I'm all about improving. Anyway, thanks for watching all the way through. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Bye bye.